The reason that they claimed that they were arresting me was because they needed to seize my electronic devices, which is quite scary because, you know, I've been the victim of some really quite severe harassment a few years ago. There was a website producing death threats, rape threats, threatening my children even. And the police said, oh, we never seize electronic equipment. It has to be terrorism.
This is Callum Smiles for Rebel News outside of Guildford Law Courts here in Surrey, covering the civil case of Caroline Farrow. Now, some people think that this case should be the biggest case up and down the country right now, given its Orwellian nature. However, the mainstream media has the nation's eyes on the current legal proceedings involving Prince Harry. Now, why is Caroline Farrow here in court? Well, this is actually the third civil case she's having to fight against for things she has said online. She hasn't physically harmed anyone and she hasn't physically stalked anyone. However, she's currently going up against charges of stalking. This case is an interesting one. We are unsure exactly who has been offended and exactly what was said that was offensive, as this information has not yet been publicised. Until 2 days before the court hearing, Caroline Farrow was also unaware that someone had been offended by her words and that they were taking legal action. Now, Caroline went to Twitter to explain exactly why she's in court. The police asked that physical paperwork relating to the court hearing against me in 2 days was withheld from me. They wanted me to go to a court hearing without access to the accusations and alleged evidence. Surrey Police have applied for a stalking protection order as a result of material I have posted on Twitter. On page 1 of the bundle, repeated misgendering is cited. Here are the prohibitions they are seeking tomorrow morning. I will be assigned an offender manager. I will not be allowed to use any social media, social networking, gaming, dating sites without this person's written permission and having supplied them with usernames and passwords for all sites within 3 days. In addition, the following requirements are added. 1. Allow police officers to enter your registered addresses between the hours of 8 AM and 8 PM to conduct a risk assessment, monitor devices, and manage compliance of the order. 2. Provide your offender manager with any mobile, digital, or internet-enabled devices for examination, review, and monitoring purposes immediately upon request. You must also provide your offender manager with any access pins, passwords, or patterns. Examinations may be completed manually on scene or could entail them seizing your devices for examination by agencies contracted by the police for that purpose. Failing to disclose the existence of a device in your possession to your offender manager will count as a failure to comply with this condition. 3. Re-register home address every 12 months at a police station within 365 days of last registration. 4. Provide your offender manager with a list of all mobile, digital, or internet-enabled devices that you own or have access to use. The list must be provided within 3 days of the order being granted or within 3 days of any changes. The police officer says this: I believe that while presenting a significant interference with the respondent's privacy rights, it's an appropriate course of action in the circumstances. Signed by Surrey Police Superintendent. I consider that in accordance with paragraph 2 of Article 8 of HRA, an interference by this force as a public authority is in accordance with the law and is necessary. I left out another condition Surrey Police are asking for. 5. Possessing, owning, or using more than one mobile phone and one SIM card, unless with written permission from your offender manager in the area that you reside. You must provide the telephone number and unique identifying numbers of all devices within 3 days of this order being granted, or within 3 days of and supplying any changes within 3 days of any such change. Caroline appears to be the black sheep of the community. She goes on to say, this is all to do with things I and in some cases other people have said on Twitter. I'm being treated like a terrorist. There's a lot more I want to say, having read through 75 pages of evidence, which has been taken at face value. But Caroline's ordeal doesn't stop there. She goes on to explain how this is going to affect those around her, why she thinks she's being treated this way, and how she's going to find the strength to deal with what she thinks is persecution. All messages to my husband, my children, my friends, my family will be monitored. All my emails read and my browsing history read. The police can enter my home at any time to check. This will devastate my life, and I'm not even convicted or even charged with anything yet. Just putting this out there will make Surrey police press even harder for this order. It will be cited as proof I am out of control. But I believe this abuse of power should not be allowed to go unnoticed. This could happen to you. Police officer says, she has shown no remorse, and whilst admitting to all the posts, she does not believe that what she has done is wrong. I vehemently and strenuously deny stalking. 39 Twitter screenshots saved on my laptop for litigation purposes and links posted on Twitter to public websites are cited as the proof. I have been advised my viral thread could aggravate matters. I gave consideration whether or not to delete, but decided not to. I limited responses to prevent abuse, but my thread is about police disproportionality and nothing more. I believe that the police are wanting to destroy my life without anyone knowing about it. I need to emulate Christ's example when falsely accused. He didn't need to respond. His accusers didn't deserve a response. I have to have more faith and trust. Mea culpa. Ultimately, these allegations made against the police by Caroline Farrow without evidence are ultimately hearsay. So I tried to contact Surrey Police to see if they could shed any light on exactly what Caroline Farrow is being charged with and who is making the allegations. They have, as of this moment, not responded. Now, today's hearing has been adjourned at the request of the police as they wish to review further evidence. However, Rebel News will continue to follow the case of Caroline Farrow because we believe it is incredibly important. Independent media has to go where the mainstream media won't. And this sort of case could set the precedence for the likes of you and me in future trials to come. Caroline hasn't physically hurt anyone. She hasn't harassed anyone or even stalked anyone. She's being dragged through the courts on trumped up charges because someone was merely offended. So if you want to continue to follow this case, you can do so at ukreporters.co.uk. Thank you for watching this report, and if this is the sort of news you wish to continue seeing, please head over to ukreporters.co.uk where you can help us with our minimal expenses. Because we are crowdfunded journalists, that means ultimately we work for you, the donor. And we don't have big donors like other big mainstream media companies. We have the people who like to see real, honest journalism. So again, that's ukreporters.co.uk, and thank you for your continued support.